Okay, and you're ready to move forward at that today.
Absolutely. A lot of people, in my opinion, should not be wholesaling.
And this goes back to just being a quality fucking person, doing quality business, guys. Just be a good person.
Exactly.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Deal Room. My name is Mat Walton. I'm here with my partner, Eva. How you doing?
Hi.
We were talking about your weekend. You had some doggy issues, but doggy is good.
Doggy is good. If you have a Frenchie, you know, there's always something wrong, and it's always a bazillion dollars at the vet.
Yeah. We talked about it. Yeah,
Gosh.
she has a whole child in that dog.
He's like a whole child, yeah. If you
Yes.
get a French bulldog, prepare to have like a full-on child at this
Yeah.
point, okay? Just everyone needs the warning.
Awesome. Well, we and Eva are not to be the only ones talking to you guys today. We actually have somebody to talk to, and besides just talking to ourselves, we have a good friend of ours and somebody that have helped me out. Actually have a conversation before about what we do and talk a little bounce ideas off each other. This is Tim Yu. Tim, how you doing?
Yo, what's up, guys? I know we had a script where I would say that I hate flipping, so I want to tell everybody in the chat right now, everybody on the show, don't do it. Don't flip.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
flip.
so we'll get into before we jump into the conversation, tell us a little about what you do. I know you run a community. You also have a
Yep.
podcast and do a lot of different things. So give us a rundown of Tim Yu.
Yeah. So, Tim, I started investing 4 years ago out in Louisville, Kentucky. So if you guys like horses, you guys like bourbon, you probably heard of Louisville, Kentucky. So it's kind of where I started, did long-term rentals like everyone else did, and then kind of realized that the long-term game just really wasn't like the recipe to like quit your job. Started off with, full-time military. So all you veterans and active duty guys out there, getting started in real estate is a lot easier than you think. And yeah, transition over to wholesaling real estate. I've done it all. I've done flipping, wholesaling, all that stuff, but really focus on the wholesaling point. If anybody's followed me on social media, I talk about active income and how it's so important in order if you're trying to, find that financial freedom. Yeah, started a real estate community with my partner, Phil. We focus on wholesaling and flipping. So he's the flipping guy. If you want to ask me any flipping questions, go talk to him. But, I really focus on the marketing and the sales portion of real estate.
Yeah, so it's interesting about that. A lot of people do wholesaling and then graduate into flipping.
Yeah.
You kind of went backwards into it. You're like, yeah, screw this flipping. I've done one flip myself, and I think all the time to myself, I could have wholesaled that for more than an hour. And so
Yeah,
it's
man.
frustrating. And so did you have kind of the same experience? I think I saw a post that you put up where you had some failures at first.
Yeah. So, everyone says like wholesaling is like the gateway drug into real estate.
What? I just said
Right,
that.
like
I just
that's
said
literally
that.
that's literally what they say. It's like,
Yeah.
if you don't know anything about real estate, you don't have any money, get into wholesale. And I agree to that in some form where you can get a deal without spending money. Like, absolutely. You can put in, all the time in the world, driving for dollars, knocking on doors. But if you want to grow wholesaling as like a business, it's a lot more skills and money and time that goes into it. And I really think that growing a wholesale business, like if you do it successfully, you can literally start any business in the world because you are mastering marketing, you're managing KPIs, and you're hiring sales teams and training sales teams. And if you can do that successfully, you can literally start any business you want. But yeah, I started backwards, I guess. I bought real estate first. I did the long-term rentals, creative finance, all that stuff. And after owning, a few properties or a handful of properties, I was stuck managing tenants, having roofs blown out and all your cash flow is gone. And I was still working a 9-to-5 job, after buying all those properties. So I guess for me, I'm addicted to deals. Like I love the fast-paced action of doing deals and managing all that stuff. So for me, it was a good avatar fit for me to like kind of focus into like wholesaling. But I guess that's how I made that backwards transition where I started flipping too, because that's what people said I should do, right? Like, oh, if you flip houses, you'll make more money than wholesaling. But for me, it was just a lot of risk. I didn't like the property or the project management side of the house. Like I would rather move a deal and make 8 to 10 grand versus, holding it for 3-4 months to hope to make 20 to 30 grand. Because I've had a few flips that, if anyone's a flipper listening to this, you've experienced this where you think that you are only putting in 30 grand, 40 grand. You open up a wall in the house and everything's rotted out. And your contractor says, hey, change order, right? I think change order is like the worst word to hear when you're doing a flip. And they're like, hey, we got to do a change order. It's going to cost you 20 grand more. And guess what? All my profit has just shrunk to like 4 grand of 6 months of work. I'd rather just assign it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
let them
terrible.
deal with that. Yeah, yeah,
Horrible.
you do that. Yeah, that's what I do too. I mean, we did the flip, and I partnered with somebody who's it was actually the first deal I ever wholesale was to him, and we just kind of became friends after a little while. And so I just partnered with him on the flip. We just got a good deal out there, and I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then we go through the process. He does pretty much all of it. Like I funded it. I found the deal. I funded it. I got the money for it, and just let him kind of run it from there. And it's great. It's been a good experience. But then we come to look at profit after everything, and I'm like, "Yeah, I could have
Yeah.
wholesaled that for double the profit, and it took me an hour work." And
That's it, man.
it's
That's it.
frustrating. So yeah, one of the things you talk about a lot in your posts and stuff like that, because what you said I think is really important is it's anybody can do a deal in wholesale for the most part. Anybody can get one under the belt. But to build a business off of this and to build consistency and to build like the proven process and to build a team and to build everything else in the wholesale is a whole another story. What are your strategies that you use currently right now to get deals in?
Should I talk about what I did in the past or like? So,
No, I mean, sure, if you want to, but
yeah.
how you're doing deals now and crush it.
Yeah, so right now we focus on pure outbound marketing. I know a lot of people are like, "Whoa, like why are you doing outbound?" But we focus on 100% outbound right now just because the cost is extremely low and we've tried the inbound marketing stuff. I think inbound marketing is really effective, right? Like if you're a bigger player in the space. Some of the biggest A-class wholesale company, actually most of them are probably running PPC, direct mail, commercials, all that stuff. But if you are not in the luxury of spending 15 to 20 grand a month, it's just not really sustainable for you. So what we've been doing is 100% outbound. We do county courthouse records. So we have a team that does all that. We buy data as well. So we have a combination between buying data and also farming it ourselves. And we, just like, the baddie-preneur here, we implement a lot of AI within our business. So we do AI SMS, we have AI responses through cold email, and then we also have like voice agents and all that stuff that kind of manage our CRM workflows. And then also we are launching our own like AI voice dialer to kind of do follow-ups. So they won't do cold outreach. They will only do the follow-ups within our system, but that significantly like shaves off so much cost of having like multiple lead managers in our business. We focus on trying to truly optimize like a smaller set of data and hitting them with very personalized messaging. So a big marketing channel, like the reason why I was late for this meeting was my acquisition manager hit me up and said, someone's calling us from your cold email. So cold email with AI, with county record data and super personalized messages, we get such a high reply rate and also callback rate. So it essentially becomes like a free inbound marketing channel for us with cold email. So, and it's very cost effective as well.
You send that through Go High Level?
No. So we used to do everything through Go High Level. I think the only thing that we're really doing through Go High Level right now is SMS, just because SMS got close bot. It's got, conversation bot, whichever direction you want to take. And we really like using close bot and stuff like that. It's been really effective and it's all tied into your workflows. But we used to do cold email through Go High Level. But what we've kind of figured out was Go High Level it's not really designed for cold email, right? It's a CRM to like manage your leads. So what we kind of figured out was, it doesn't track the right metrics where it shows like all the emails are delivered. So let's say I emailed 1,000. It'll say 999 are delivered, which is a great metric, but it doesn't show you what's been suppressed. So, if you don't know what suppression is, it gets delivered to a mailbox, but it's actually ending up in spam because in the email world that shows delivered.
Yeah, but then you ask people you got it, and like, yeah, and I was like, well, it's in spam.
Correct.
I didn't know that about email.
That's bad. Yeah, I love emails. Okay, so emails are really dope because even if you pay a company to do it, like a software, it costs us maybe $50 a month to have like 6 emails. So what we do is we use multiple domains and each domain has multiple email boxes within it. And we don't send more than 30 emails a day per mailbox. So that's how we kind of keep our health and integrity for these emails, having those multiple domains and multiple email boxes. And obviously having that AI respond within 5 minutes is huge, right? Because speed to lead, that's our key metric for anything is if someone replies to you, you want to try to reply back to them within 5 minutes. Like that's like our golden window to try to book an appointment. Yeah, emailing is great. It's super cheap, super affordable. For 200 something bucks, you can send 15,000 emails a month.
Now, Eva, with her AI, when she has, I don't know how much you know about it, but her company's called Wholetech, and she has a CRM, and it will basically negotiate and everything for
Nice.
you. So is it like she just, gets on the phone, closes the deal, and then moves on?
Yeah, but
kinda
we're
gangster.
doing more. So ours is agent, right? We're doing not agent outreach where you're just cold calling a bunch of agents. It's more strategic to directly to the listing agent of the said properties we want. And so it instantly goes to the agent and tells them, okay, hey, look at, we've seen the property. Let's gather a little bit of information. Once it gathers that information, it gives it a offer based on the parameters that we've set. And then it negotiates back and forth with the agent. And typically at some point, it lets us know that we need to come in and sign a contract or make a call or whatever it is. So it leads us to that point. But it's really interesting that you're using AI too. And now we're going to just get nerdy out. Like, how are you doing it? What are you doing? But then,
yeah.
like the stuff that you just dropped about email, like I didn't know that about email, which makes so much sense because I'm always on. I have GHL as our base. And so I'm always looking at the emails on GHL and it says how many have been delivered. I know exactly what you're talking about. But they will say something and I'll be like, check your spam. And they'll say it went in spam. And I'm like, fuck, how do I get it to stop going to spam?
Yeah.
So it's so interesting that bit of information that you just dropped, because other people who are watching who have been, wholesaling for a minute, have some experience, have grown outside of that hustle stage we were talking about earlier. I bet you some of them are thinking the same thing and they're like, oh, wait.
The same thing's happening a
Well,
lot with phone numbers too.
Yeah,
Phone numbers,
you
you had to
know,
fight to keep it from spam.
everything is about hygiene at the end of the day, right? So like, I don't know what the level of like the listeners are, but like at the end of the day, if you're like doing mass marketing like we are, DTA is a little different because the listing, it's on there and you can call the agent, all that stuff. But if you're doing like direct to seller, lead hygiene or data hygiene is so important, because if you are cold calling, actually, let's not do cold calling. If you're texting a bunch of landlines, right, that is flagging your phone. Like every time you send an error rate, like if we have over a 10% error rate, like we stop all our campaigns. Because we're like, oh God, like we're texting a whole bunch of like old people with landlines and all our phone numbers are going to get hit with spam. So, you got to track that stuff. And then with emails too, like we pay like a different data provider to screen our emails as best as possible. So we'll have like, let's say we have 100 emails and we pay for a service to like revalidate them. 20 of them kind of fall off. And that's good because we don't want to send emails to a bad email where it's bouncing, because that hurts our email box's health, right? And then that lead hygiene is killing our system. And eventually, if you're doing it to thousands of leads a day or a month, whatever it is, like all your stuff is just going to spam or getting marked as spam if you're calling or texting, whatever it is. So you got to make sure that you're trying to validate your information as much as possible,
Makes sense. I'm gonna start yelling at agents when they give me the wrong email and it bounces back.
Yeah.
Like, you're messing up my health, my hygiene.
You're screwing up my metrics, okay?
Yeah.
Like that's not cool.
Are you worried about when you do outreach? Because I don't think, how many times have you done direct to seller? Any at all?
Direct seller, I don't ever touch it. So yeah. I mean, in the very beginning, obviously that's where we all start, right? Like we were talking about earlier, the hustle of it all. Like, yeah, we all like do the whole direct to seller, driving for dollars, yada yada, and then we get our $10,000 and then we go, yay, and we do it again, or we hit a dead month and and we cry in the corner.
Yeah.
Or you could be like a 19-year-old that goes buys a
Right.
Rolex, after the first deal and has no money to spend on marketing.
I spent no money reinvesting into systems. I put it all on a Rolex.
And then we start our course.
Oh
That's
man.
right. That's right. There you go. Let's
Let me
go.
show you how to make $19,000 and buy this Rolex. Yeah, no, we
No direct to seller for me. I did it in the beginning like we all did, but I haven't really touched it in at least 4 years.
Yeah, we've been testing an AI voice bot too that does outbound calls and actually has the conversations to qualify, along with the text bot that will actually have the conversations fully into where you just get a lead. Hopefully the goal is you get a lead in your inbox and it says ready to close, and you just call it, close it, and then move on. What scares me to death about direct to seller is the DNC list and stuff like that. Like just happen to have that one person who's just like, I can't wait for someone to text my phone and try and solicit me because I'm going to go right to the core system. Do you worry about that?
Yeah, I mean, we worry about it to an extent. I mean, you always got to be cognizant of what's going on. Like, if we're doing our cold text message campaigns, we still follow TCPA. We do A2P validation. We do the opt outs, right? So we give people the opportunity to opt out. If somebody does opt out, our system just DNDs them. We just kind of leave them, right? But if they DND us for text messaging, we're still gonna call them. We just that's our mentality of it. But you always got to keep that in the back of your mind. But I will kind of stress the importance of why we do cold email, because there is no TCPA telemarketing laws when it comes to cold email. So I will spam your damn emails, and maybe you'll call me back, maybe you don't, but we always try to provide value in our stuff. So if you're getting a cold email from me, I'm usually offering you a lead magnet, right? Just like any email marketing. My philosophy on wholesaling real estate is treat your company like these big ass companies in the world, right? Like all your famous brands, they destroy you in cold email. Well, not cold email, but like they get you in like an email campaign of some sort, and they email you, and like they make a ton of money off email campaigns. So if Nike, if everyone's doing it, like why not do it for your own business? Right? Cold email is very effective, and it's like virtually like basically. So that's just something to think about. And also it doesn't really fall under those telemarketing laws. Like it's kind of like a vast ocean in my opinion, especially if you are getting your emails delivered, because I guarantee you 99% of people who are cold emailing are sending everything through a Gmail. So your shit is going to spam. And 80% of your problems in emailing is just getting the email to someone's like inbox. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, Chili's has been targeting me for years.
Yeah.
Just when you order one time online, you click that little.
They went
2 for 1 Yinglings, bro.
Yeah. Chili's has hit my inbox up all the time.
they're not
I
targeting me. They've successfully targeted.
Yeah.
You are their avatar customer here.
Yeah, I'm there all
Exactly,
the
yeah.
time. Me and my friends. We're like, should we meet at Chili's? And everyone else in the group is like, is that even a question? I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'll be there
I'm sorry,
5.
guys. Yep.
Yeah, no, I never thought about that. I get a ton of emails, and I typically hate the little red bubble on my phone that
Yeah.
says like how many emails or how many text messages I have left. I try and get rid of that. I've lost track of it now. I'm like 10,000 some emails, and it drives me crazy every time I open it. But what's going to drive me crazier is even sitting down and doing that.
Yeah.
So
100%.
you got to make sure they respond back to you, obviously, and you have systems in place to help you reach out to it. Now, I know one of the things you focus on too is you do the county data, and you have certain websites that you use, and you make sure that when it pops up, you reach out. And it's not like you're just pulling a list, right? You're not pulling this huge list of pre-probates or pre-foreclosures, and you're just doing a bunch of outreach. You're doing very targeted stuff, right?
Yeah, that's a good segue into like another rant. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
A lot of
away.
like direct to seller investors, especially like beginners. Like I guess I want to like frame like an idea or a thought process to them is how many new investors do you talk to that are wholesalers that say like, oh, I don't have any consistency in my deals, right? And it's like, okay, the first question I ask is, well, what lists are you calling? And they'll say, well, I'm calling like absentee owners or pre-foreclosures. And I'm like, okay, great. Pre-foreclosures, that rings a good bell. And I was like, where are you getting this information? And they said, I'm pulling it from a software, and I'm not going to name the software, but I'll tell you that it's a $99 subscription, and there's like 6 of them that exist, and they're all big, they're all super popular, and they all get the data from the same damn place. They all buy their data from First National Title. And I'm not saying anything illegal, this is the truth, but I'm not naming any names. Like they are $99 softwares, and you get bulk lists. So when I preach about bulk lists, this is what I'm talking about, where you pull 10, 20, 30,000 records for $99 that probably have a 50% accuracy rate when you skip trace them. And then you spend literally all your free time calling this data that's like tens of thousands of records. And if you were to call all these records, you would probably have to hire a sales rep or a virtual assistant from the Philippines. Like that's like the old strategy, like oldest time, right? And you are essentially, I love to compare this to finding a needle in a haystack. Like you're calling, like imagine 20,000 records, that's the freaking hay, and you have one lead in there, that's the needle. Like that's what you're trying to do. So, and if you're a brand new wholesaler, you're buying this data because it's $100, right? And you don't have a lot of money to spend, and you're getting off work 9 to 5, and you're calling 2-3 hours a day. Like, bro, you are literally wasting your life calling this data. Because if you were calling bulk data, first off, if you're getting it from a website, and if you guys don't know any of this stuff, is one company has all this data and they're selling it to companies for, and then they sell it to you for $99. It's so delayed. So if someone filed for foreclosure, that has to get recorded, and then that data gets sold to another company, and then that company sells it to the software that you're buying it from. So by the time you get that data, a guy like me or other investors have probably cold called it, texted it, door knocked it, emailed it. We've already reached out to them like 100 times. So by the time you call them, it's already sold to a guy like me, right? Or, you know what I mean? So like that's the craziness behind it. And if you're not calling foreclosure, you're calling absentee owners. 99% of these guys don't want to sell their house. So they're just getting mad that hundreds of people are calling them.
Right.
I'll digress. That was my little mini rant on
Ran
data and
Ran
bulk
away.
data, all that stuff. We do focus on county records. Instead of 10, 20,000 records, we focus on, like, we're in Houston, so we get about 1,500 records a month. And that includes like probate, divorce, foreclosure, code violations, whatever they are. And it's such a small list where you don't need a massive team to manage it, right? You have a couple AI bots, a couple of sales guys that are closing, right? Cold call, like really like my team just consists of a few American cold callers, closer or two, and my partner who does dispo operations backend. Like that's all you really need when you're only focusing on like such a small sample size of data. I
So
rant
what-
over.
Yeah, no, we love rant. We love rants on here. Like Eva's coming up for about probably 2 or 3 in the next episode that we have.
That's right. That's right. That's what I'm talking about.
I've got a lot of rants. I can rant, you know?
Good. We can rant about all this stuff. So
Well, you're honestly preaching all the same shit that I preach. Like with the data that you're talking about, we're not going to name company names, but there is a company that we all know and love and use to find buyers.
Love
Because
strong
they
words.
show you certain data that, and they're not specifically made to show buyers, but we've been
Correct.
taught how to find the buyer information in those sites. I know that if this house just sold that I've been trying to get from this agent and I didn't win, that I have to wait 3 weeks before I can find out who the heck that buyer was from that site. If I want to know sooner than that, I have to go to the county.
Right.
Yep.
where does like data come from? Is the county, like the county. And I know a lot of gurus online and YouTube will say, well, go to the county courthouse. And like, you can do that. Yeah. Like, it's just, will they give it to you? Right.
Mhm.
There's these grumpy ladies that will tell you F off and you got to come back some other time when they're in a better mood.
And they're not getting paid right now, so they really matter.
They're getting paid and like you know what I mean? They're definitely not giving you the list, but there are some counties that do have data on the computer, like they're modernized and they have like information loaded into the computer. The problem is when you do it for free, right? You can do all this stuff for free, but there's always the trade-off of time where, you know, the county will report their data however they want to report it, and it's not good for investors because you got to sift through the documents, you got to figure out what the property is, if there's equity, whatever it is, or if it's a probate case. Not all probate cases come with real estate. So you want to make sure that the probate file has a property associated to it, or you're just calling a random, you know, person that passed away and saying, hey, you interested in selling your house? And they're like, there's no property on this file. Like, what are you talking about? So you got to be able to like pull the data, you got to be able to skip trace the data and then also validate if it's actually like clean data or there's real estate involved. So there's a lot of time that comes into trying to do that, like the free 99 world. So that's why like we do pay for our data just because it's all about speed for us, right? If you're doing cold outbound, like you don't have the luxury of paying for ads and having someone opt into a website. Like you get the data at 8 p.m. or you get the data at 9 a.m. Like we're calling at 9:01, you know, like we're calling it as soon as we get it because, you know, I'll tell you a story real quick. We had a lease pendants case that came in on like a Tuesday at like 10 a.m. and we loaded our CRM, did all our campaigns, all that stuff. And the guy called us back and said, I don't know what's going on my property, but I've gotten 8 different calls from 8 different investors. And it's literally been day 1. So I just want to stress how important it is to reach out. As soon as you get data, you have to call them or reach out because you are competing against people that reach out to them within minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So just FYI.
Yeah, and you should join Tim's calls to learn more about this. I was supposed to join Tim's call, but I have kids that decide to not go to sleep, and I missed Tim's call, and he would teach you how to find these records and everything. But I think one of the most important things also, so me and Eva talked about it the other day, is how you have conversations with these people too. It's a big difference. Me and Eva, we sound way different when we talk to an agent than a VA does, or somebody who might be on your acquisition team, for example. I just had to coach one of the ladies on my acquisition team. She does very good. She's got probably over 80 grand coming in this month of closed deals she has in this month.
Jeez.
Nice.
She's good. She's
Where
very.
is
she's
she from?
from Texas. She's a nice. I call her my.
Yeah.
We have
Oh,
a
is she
feisty
American?
grandma team. She's a feisty grandma. That's what we call her. She's 60-something years old. I hope she's 60 years old. If she isn't, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But anyway, she's very. I mean, her and the dispo lady, they're good friends. But they're very feisty and they handle their business. But sometimes on conversations, you know, I'm like, all right, well, I got to coach you up on this because You got to be more confident. I told her today, I was like, look, we've done 40 deals this year so far. Asking the agent how many deals they've done, if they've done anywhere close to 40 deals. I guarantee you 95% of them have not even got anywhere close to that. So
I
I was
talked
like,
to a dude yesterday that only done 9 deals in his 3 years as being a real estate agent. And telling
Exactly.
me how I should write a
3
contract.
years.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
like, you're telling me to how I should do it?
Yeah, 3
That's
deals a
crazy.
year. Exactly. And so like I told her, I was like, look, you have to have the conversation to somebody who knows what they're doing because we know what we're doing. These agents don't know what they're doing. Like they can tell you how many years they've been in business. I don't care. I care about how many deals you close consistently. So I had to tell her that. Yeah, and me and Eva were talking about it. Like when we get on the phone, it's different because when we have conversations with agents, you can tell we know what we're talking about. We don't get back down. We can speak your language and we can tell you what our numbers are and why they're that way and why you should do a deal with us. Other people don't. So one of the things you preach also is, obviously the sales and how good you are at sales, especially on the phone. You have to be that way for sellers, especially someone who's gotten 8 calls in an hour, or in a day or something like that. You have to set yourself apart. So give us a little bit of, sales coaching here.
Yeah. First off, I don't do direct to agent because y'all piss me off. Okay. Like I've never had like a situation where I'm going direct to seller and they say, "Oh, talk to my agent." I'm like, "Okay, this deal's bomb." Like I've lost so many deals over our agent involved with the seller and foreclosures, whatever. Oh my God, like it's just so frustrating. But I know you can make a lot of money with direct to agent. I just don't prefer it because I want to fight every single person with a license.
Yeah, and
right?
you have to have the mentality of like barking back basically because you do have to do a lot of barking.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I literally have a deal on their contract in Houston where the agent is a listing agent and the seller's losing their house, right? Or houses. It's a 5-house portfolio deal. And the agent's like, "Oh, you need to do 5 separate PSAs." And I'm like, no, like I'm putting everything in one because I'm only buying this as a package and I'm not individually doing it. And he's like, "Well, that's not legal." And I'm like, "Bro, you did 9 deals in 3 years.
Yeah.
You gotta stop, bro. Like before I walk out of this deal." So that's just, it's crazy. But for sales, for sellers, a big thing is we as wholesalers get a bad rap. What I mean by a bad rap is a lot of us get a bad rap in terms of we're not 100% honest, right? Well, we'll say, "We're going to buy this house, Mr. Seller, 14 days, we'll buy it." And then you're secretly trying to assign it. And then you tell them, 15 days later that you don't have a buyer and you can't buy this deal and all this stuff. And then they end up losing their house to foreclosure, right? You can do a lot of deals by being 100% transparent, right? Hey, I'm not going to buy this house at that price, but I do have a big shit list of investors that would probably buy at this price. Would you want me to market it where they pay me a finder's fee out of their pocket and then you are guaranteed this amount? Yes, I am. Cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a contract or a agreement, because I don't say contract on the phone with them. I say, I'll send you this agreement and I will market the property for 5-6 days. And if I don't find someone to meet that, then, I'll let it go hands-free and you can go sell it to whoever you want. But this is kind of like your get out of jail free card. That's kind of how I sell it. Also, we call like very specific lists, right? So we call foreclosures. So we do a very consultation style sales process. So we want to make sure, like if someone texts us, I always ask it, "Are you trying to sell it or are you trying to keep it?" We don't care. Right? I'll get on the phone with you for 10 minutes and see like where you're at. And then we can point you in the right direction if we're not a good fit. And that's how we like do it. So let's say like you're losing your house. We'll give you a holler. We'll text you, "Hey, do you want to keep it? Do you want to sell it?" And then we'll go through the whole process. We'll send you a freebie, a lead magnet, kind of explaining like what the process is of a foreclosure and what options you potentially have. And our sales team will go through that checklist with them and say, "Have you tried this? Have you tried that? Have you tried this?" And eventually they're going to say, "Shit, out of 6 options, I can't do any of them," right? I don't have enough time or I just don't have equity and blah, blah, blah. And we'll go, "Hey, we'll give you a recommendation of what we can do is number 1, have you heard of a short sale?" "No, I haven't heard of a short sale." "Okay, this is basically what a short sale is. And we have an agent on our team that we know that specializes in this and they'll do the negotiation with the bank." Like I don't do any of that shit. I just pass it off to my realtor friend. They get the listing, they handle the short sale, and then I'll make them an offer, right? So once it's listed on the market, I will make an offer and whatever my max allowable is. And if they take it, great. The bank takes it, amazing. I'm going to wholesale it. If they don't take it, then the agent will sell the house on the market and I'll get a little fee from the agent. So I'll still make money off it and the seller gets helped, right? If a short sale doesn't work, then I'll just tell them like, "Hey, have you ever considered selling your property for cash to an investor?" And they go, not until I had this call. And I never said like, sell it to me. I said, have you just considered selling it cash to an investor that can close fast, whatever, right? And you just do it as a consultation. They kind of walk through that process and they kind of close themselves and say like, damn, I don't really have many options. Like maybe selling it is the best option. So then when they do say yes, they're already inclined to say yes to us. So then you kind of just go through your different purchase options. Like, hey, what's the condition? What's like the speed you're trying to do it at? What's like, do you have equity in the property, right? We go through the whole screening process and then we try to give them the best offer possible, you know?
So
Is that helpful?
No, yeah, very.
My question is, when you first, before you get to that sales call point, you're sending out these cold emails. These cold emails that you're sending out, they have this lead magnet that's basically telling them those options?
No. So we keep it very like, same thing with text messages. So text messages, we go very like short to the point, like, hey, like, you know, we do a whole, like all our campaigns are very personal. So we have like the foreclosure date, we have all these different things and we say like, hey, your auction is like, our fourth text is like, did you know your schedule is like, your scheduled auction on this date? If you want the options, like text me like Y, text me the letter Y, right? It's very short to the point. Like, hey, you got 15 days left until your auction. Like, do you know your options yet? Or do you want to hear your option? 10-minute call, hit Y, right? And then emails is like, hey, blah, 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 blah. We have a guide for you, like respond with this word and we'll send you the guide. So it's like we're incentivizing you to reply because emails, we want people to reply to us, you know, and it helps out our metrics too. Yeah, we want opt-ins, 100%.
I'm interested to know how you do that on probate. And like, text him like, hey, I saw that grandma died. I know she got hit by that reindeer. You know,
no, we say like, hey, you're probably going through a tough time. So I don't expect you to read this. Like, that's kind of how we say it. Like, we don't expect you to read this, but we have like, you know, a guide or something that can kind of help you do the process, right? To help you do the probate process. Oh, what's that? What's that? Right? And they're like, yeah, cool. Like we'll schedule a call. And if you want to learn about probate, talk to Phil because he does all like the tax lien death stuff. So it's like pretty crazy there too.
Yeah. Yeah, I like those. If I'm doing any list, I don't really do a list. And what we're calling right now is probate. I don't know how to do pre-probate. I'm guessing that's like if they feel like someone's on close to dying. I don't know how to do that.
Pre-probate is the hardest, right? Because when they do probate, that means someone has already started the process.
Yeah, but pre-probate they haven't started the process, so the deals could be a lot longer and spread out.
No, that's like obituaries. That's like all that crazy shit, right? So how Phil does it is he sees what's being sold on a tax sale.
Mm-hmm.
So like the reason why they pick tax sales is because tax sales take a long time for foreclosures to happen. So usually if you see something on a tax sale, that means that property's probably free and clear, that there's no mortgage because a mortgage will default you in like 3 months, right? So taxes take a long time. So what they do is they look at the tax list and they see who's passed away. And that's how they do their initial screening. It's like, okay, someone's passed away, they have heirs, and then they kind of start the process to see like if they want to sell it or not.
So I'm curious, you said something a little bit ago that you wholesale short sales. I heard that's a big no-no.
What? You actually
buy it, if you double close.
Okay, but what do you double check to make sure though? Because you have to check for affidavit restrictions and deed restrictions, right?
Yeah, 100%. And then also in Texas, there's like the redemption periods as well. But if you're double closing though, like it shouldn't be a problem because I technically own the house.
Yeah,
but isn't there a time limit that you're supposed to own the house before you can resell?
Not really.
We'll delete this.
I haven't experienced anything bad. Unless I'm putting myself up for a lawsuit.
Wasn't a lady got in a lot of trouble for that, right?
No, so you're talking about
she was telling banks.
That was mortgage fraud. She was doing mortgage fraud.
Yeah, she was telling banks like, hey, I'm gonna stop this auction, blah blah blah. I'm gonna like do a sub 2, whatever, and then she would just back out all these deals. Like, we don't stop the auction. So that's the thing too, is what she was doing was she was telling the banks and the auctioneers were, hey, delay this auction, I'm gonna buy this, I'll catch this up, and then she would let like the dominoes like crumble. Mm-hmm. So, and then she did that at scale. Like she was doing this like probably 20 houses a month. She's stopping all these auctions. I think
that was like 300 in total that she's on trial for or charged for or whatever's happening still. Yeah.
So
she
when you do
different.
When you list it with an agent, so why we talk to agents for this is because one, you have to list it on the market as a short sale, right? Like I'm pretty sure, you know, realtors correct me if I'm wrong. So what we do is seller says, I'm interested in doing a short sale. And it's not a guarantee, right? Because the bank has to accept like that it wants to do a short sale. So like if you guys don't know, it's like the bank's accepting a loss and willing to sell the house on a cheaper discount. So you're still doing everything on the legal side with the agent talking to the bank, getting the approval, the packet done, and then they list it on the market. So it's legally listed on the market. And if you make an offer that the bank accepts, you can close on that house. Like you'll own the property. And then if your offer doesn't work, the bank's going to say, F no, we need a higher offer. And you hope that the market gives you the offer that you're looking for, so then the bank can close it out.
How many short sales do you know offhand? How many you've done?
Me personally, like, are you counting referrals too?
Just
Like
any
ones that I can buy?
ones that you've double closed on.
So I've only done that like 4 times.
Okay. Yeah,
But we
we had
referred
one and we
multiple
canceled
more.
it because we felt like we were like, Matt, we don't know if you can do anything.
Yeah.
And someone else had said something about double closing, and then someone else had told us about the LLC strategy, but we just ended up letting it go because I was like, I don't want to go jail.
Yeah.
No,
Matthew
it's
Pot-
like,
Matthew-
yeah.
yeah, Matthew
Yeah.
Potter, who's that dude in sub 2.
He's a short sale
big.
expert.
Yeah, he is.
I messaged him and he said not to do it.
Yeah, I talked to him about it because he did a mastermind over at with Jamil when we were over there, and he was like, "Yeah, you think the banks don't know?" I was like, "They know, and they know."
Yeah,
and
but if
they're
you
just-
buy it though, if
they
you
just- he
buy
said-
it,
yeah, he just talked about it. He was like, "I'm just telling you guys, I would stay away because because what you're doing is you're telling the bank they lost money.
Yeah,
then
and they
you
don't want
made
anyone
money-
making money on it.
You made money off them losing money." And then, they don't play with that game. So that, like, I tell my team, if it's short sale, foreclosure, don't touch it. Don't even get near it because I would just rather be safe than sorry in that. And I'm not saying what you're doing is maybe it's fine. I have no idea.
I don't know. I don't want to
his warning.
subject myself to legal things.
Yeah, I know we might have to.
So guys,
This is
Well-
controversial, guys.
Well,
There's
is all
people on each
hypothetical?
side.
I
Thanks
wouldn't.
if you're listening.
So
Hypothetical.
foreclosures, like there's a lot of issues with foreclosure as well. So I will say that if you are starting out in your foreclosure journey, if there is no equity, I would avoid.
Yeah,
Just
I mean,
because
yeah.
there's a lot of intricacies with low equity. There are strategies where I know people, like very close friends of mine, that let's say like the seller owes 30 grand, right? Like in arrears, and the deal is great, but they don't have enough time to stop an auction or whatever it is. So they will loan money, 30 grand, put a lien on the property, delay the auction, catch it up, and then they buy it like later
Yeah.
once the auction's delayed. So there's
Pace
a
talked
lot of
about that
crazy stuff
strategy
you
too.
can do. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can do a
Yeah.
lot of crazy stuff. I just don't think you should do it like when you're first starting.
No,
But
no.
No.
you know what we like, obviously, like I have a seller right now. She is foreclosure with high equity, right? That's like the American dream. Like that's like an American dream deal because they need to let it go. We can give her a higher offer where she walks away with some cash, and then we move on from that in like 30 days, right? That's cash is king. Like anything with creative, I don't really wholesale as much anymore unless I know you and you're my homie, and I'll move that creative deal to you. But everything we do predominantly is cash.
Thank you for saying that. I will not wholesale a sub 2 deal or anything like that unless I personally know you and that you're a good person, because we have wholesaled a deal that was a sub 2 deal of this buyer who we thought was a very big buyer. He was a big buyer at the time, ended up committing a bunch of fraud. And then this poor lady, he let it go. And we kept reaching out and say, please, like, just send it back to us. Send the title back to us. We'll take care of this lady. And he didn't. He was like, I don't want nothing to do with it. And he just let this lady go into foreclosure and ruin this lady's life on that. And I feel like personally responsible for that. And so I will never do that again. So if it's a subject 2 deal, I'm either buying it myself, or if I am wholesaling it, it's going to be somebody that I know personally that has good morals and that can do it. But other than that, I just tell people, like, please don't assign those deals.
Yeah, it's just guys, like
You're messing with people's lives.
it's just not worth it, man. Like
No,
it's
it's
just not. Like seller finance I think is a little easier just because I'll buy seller finance all day. I actually don't buy sub 2s anymore either. Like I haven't bought a sub 2 in a long time, but I just think there's a lot of risk. There's a lot of pain in the butts that kind of go into a sub 2. Like I used to think it was the coolest strategy in the world, but there's just a lot of risk to it, honestly.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about your well, you have a podcast with Phil, who actually we're going to have on the podcast here in a couple of days, which we're excited about.
Yeah,
We
it's
just
my
had
dog.
William Yu on the podcast last.
My little bro, you getting the whole Asian squad going on, huh?
Look, I got Japanese in me. She's got a Filipino in her too. Like yeah.
Yeah, Will's my dog, man. We actually went to his wedding
Yeah.
a month ago.
Did his wedding was
Yeah.
lit.
A lot of fun,
Mhm.
dude. A lot of fun.
Yeah, I bet. So we talked to him, we talked to Phil, and you guys are doing, Due Diligence After Dark, which is the podcast you guys have on. You also have the community on the school group. What's that one called again?
Yeah, so we're the New Breed Investors.
There you go.
on school. So we got about 700 guys in the free group now. So we're growing that.
Nice.
And yeah, our podcast is on Tuesdays, I think 6 p.m., I think Eastern time. But yeah, we talk about a whole bunch of random stuff, mostly focused on like business, real estate, just ideas. So actually tomorrow we're going to talk about like bad partnerships that we've been in.
Yeah.
Kind of talking about like, how to screen your partners, kind of figure out all that stuff. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, like growing a community. I think we've been doing it for like 3-4 months now. So it's been a lot of fun, just like helping people grow and stuff like that.
So I mentioned like working with new wholesalers. How much do you work with them? What are your advice to them when they start off and when they're just getting going?
Man. Let me think about this for a second. Just because like I have this conversation all the time. Okay, if you're brand new, you need to like look at why you want to wholesale, right? Because a lot of people, in my opinion, should not be wholesaling. And and this is gonna sound just absolutely like brutal. Maybe it depends on how you are, but for me personally, you need to ask yourself why you want to wholesale and if it's for you. And a lot of people say, I want to wholesale because I want to make $10,000. Or my favorite thing is I want to build capital, right? Guys, what are you talking about? You want to build capital, but like you suffer for like 40 hours a week or however many hours you want to do because you have no money. And then so now you have to trade all your time to get maybe one deal, right? And when you do get that seller on the phone, you get so nervous that you don't even know what to say to them. And then you can't get the deal done anyway. What I'm trying to say is like, if you're trying to build capital, and I know like, I think for me, like, it's just not a good reason to wholesale. How much capital do you need? Like what, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you trying to like strive for? So a lot of the goal is, I want to do wholesale so then I can build capital in order to buy my rental. So like, bro, you need 50 grand. So if you suck at sales, are you going to spend like 2 years, like trying to wholesale to like get 50 grand to go buy a property that makes $200 a month? Doesn't really like make sense to me. So if you are a 9-to-5 person, like how we started, like how I started, and you want active income, honestly, bro, I would look into flipping because in my opinion, like it's way easier to get a flip deal than to source your own deal off market. You can get wholesalers, you can get agents to like get you a deal and like you can qualify for a hard money loan and you can buy it that way. That's just my opinion. But if you are set on trying to wholesale, and guys, please cut me off if you disagree. Like it's just crazy to me like why people want to start wholesaling. But number 2 is if you do want to wholesale, your data is everything. Like if you only have 2 hours a day or 1 hour a day, don't you want to spend that 1 hour a day calling lists that like guarantees you that there's a reason to sell? And like what I mean by that is like why I talk about county records is if you're calling a foreclosure list from the county and there's 100 people in there, if you call for 2 hours and someone picks up, they still can tell you to F off 100%. But if they do want to sell, you're not going to get this answer where a lot of wholesalers get. I'll make a decision in 3 months, or call me back in 6 months, call me back in a year. There is none of that. It is, I need to make a decision the next week or I'm losing my house. So I would rather spend my time calling that than calling this trash data like of 10,000 records, right? If I only have a limited amount of time.
Right. Yeah. It's funny because somebody just reached out to me yesterday who saw a podcast I did with Jamil a long time ago. Every once in a while, somebody reaches out to me from it because I put my real number on there for whatever reason. And so, but it's fine.
I think I did mine too, though. That was like 3 years ago.
Right. Yeah. So I had
Call
the
me.
podcast on there. Yeah. And so my number's on there and they reach out, which is fine. I don't complain necessarily. It's not a bunch of them, but I talked to the guy and I think what you said about, finding your why in general, whatever you're doing, you need to have a good why behind it. I mean, mine is freedom to be with my children and freedom to not work. I hate 9-to-5s. I hate working for anybody else. And so that was a strong enough why for me to just go into this because I was like, I'm not doing that anymore. But then obviously being around my children as much as I want to, going wherever I wanted to at the time. That's why I did all of this in general. So that's why I stuck through the crap like you have to go through inevitably when you're doing entrepreneurship or going through wholesaling. So you have to have a very strong why, but you also have to understand like what your risk tolerance is, how much budget you have, if you have any, how to do this the right way and learn who to learn from, which I think is a big deal too, because people can learn from the wrong people and do the wrong things. This guy called me and I'm talking to him. He's like, yeah, so my buddy wholesales and he's doing really well. So I'm trying to get into this. I said, okay, cool. What is he telling you? He's like, all right, well, I need to buy the CRM. It's $1,000 a month. I need to get this
What?
this VA company. It's $1,400 a month. They'll
Yeah.
guarantee 2 leads a day. I need to also after that, I'll look into inbound marketing, which would be about $5 to $10 a month to get some stuff in. I'm like, what? Like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
you have the
I
money to
know.
do this. He was like, it's gonna be tight, but I was like, you're going to
It's
go
gonna be
broke.
tight for the first month?
Yeah, I was like, you're gonna go
How
broke.
long are you gonna sustain that?
Exactly.
2 months. 2
Yeah.
months.
I was like,
yeah,
you
I see a lot
understand,
of
like,
people do that.
they can sell you the dream, but the thing is, you don't know how to wholesale yet. So you're going to waste so many leads in general just at
Just
first because you
learning.
don't know how to close a deal. So now you've wasted a bunch of money. You're going to spend this on months. Like, what are you doing? And he was just like, this is what I was told to do. And I was like, well, if you
Yeah.
want to be in debt up to your eyeballs and you want to, be screwed in the next couple months, sure, go ahead. But I was like, I can tell you how to do it for free. And maybe you can do that. And I was like, look, I have a CRM that you can copy what I do for agents. If you want to do that, it's $50 a month. I don't care. I don't make any money off it. Just here you
Yeah.
go.
I think the big thing though is, oh my gosh, I had like what you said just like resonated with me so deep that like I like forgot what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Oh man, oh dude, it was like really good because yeah, people want to spend all this money, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna spend $5,000 on PPC. I'm gonna buy the fancy CRM with AI, all this stuff. Like everyone's selling you something, right? Including myself. Like
Including Eva,
I'm guilty of this, right? Like we're selling something, but at the end of the day, you don't freaking need it in the beginning.
Yeah.
No,
Like,
you don't.
everybody-
I had a freaking Google phone number, a Google
Yeah, I think everyone started off with Google Voice, right?
Yeah.
Like we are all Google Voice like beginners, and that's how we started. But at the end of the day, everyone's trying to buy a cheat code in wholesaling, and that's why I wanted to talk about. I stressed about like, why do you want to do this? Like,
Yes.
if you don't want to sacrifice the time to learn the process, learn how like to track
Yeah, you
metrics, learn how to do all these things, you don't deserve to do this.
Yeah.
Right? To make the money because they want to buy the call centers. They want to pay the $1,500 a month because they're promising you 3 leads a month.
Yes.
Like, guys, if you're using call center and you don't have control over the dialer, you're getting robbed. You're getting robbed.
The
Well, I
thing,
think
the promise of 3 leads a month too, like that doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, also like they could be
So 3
trash
people said they want to talk to you.
or dude, you have no control where they could be selling your leads to somebody else.
right. I found this agent and I called him because he hired this VA company. I have a VA company, right? And I wasn't
Yep.
trying to sell him anything, but he hired this VA company and they were the worst company I've ever heard in my life. I've answered, I'm not joking. I've answered the same questions for them. If I'm a buyer on my buy boxes 7 different times. I've also told them to F off 4 other times. And they still call me back and ask those same questions. And I found out who they were working for, and I called that agent and I was like, please, for the love of God, fire this company. I don't care. Like, I run a VA company, you want to talk to me, great. But fire this company, they're awful. But what we did is we ran some ads for our VA company. And we had, no lie, a crap ton of people calling us for VAs. And the first conversation, okay, well, how long you been wholesaling? Oh, I haven't been wholesaling yet. I just, I had just started. I watched a few YouTube videos. All right, so what do you need callers for? They're going to call, they're going to close deals for me, and I'm going to make money. I was
That's
like,
not
yeah,
how that works.
good luck.
I mean, listen.
Oh
Whoever
my
taught
god,
him
if that's
that,
how that works,
sick
I'd be
marketing.
so rich.
I know,
Yes.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
I was like, and then I asked them, the next question I ask is, all right, well, cool. When your VA has a situation that comes up, because it will, and you've never been through it before, how are you going to help them out?
I know, man.
That's a
I
good
mean,
question.
we had our weekly meeting this week with our team, and I told my sales guys, I was like, listen, like you guys are gonna get punched in the face this week, like any other week. But the biggest thing is like we can't really help you unless you get on the phone because you're gonna experience different things that sellers tell you that I can't really like come up with all the scenarios in my brain. Like, I need you to experience it on your own. And like, what do I tell the seller? Like, that's fine. Like, I want you to like experience that so that we could talk about it. So I can give you like feedback on like how to like approach it. But so many people want to like just jump into like wholesale without any background. Like, honestly, like if you have some money and you have sales skills, like you'll crush. Like you can honestly crush because if you're super good at negotiating and talking to sellers and being personable and you have money to spend on ads, like go ahead, do it. Like I think that's awesome. And I think you'll do pretty well like in the long term of it. But if you have no experience in sales, like even if you hire like a cold call team, like a bunch of VAs, you still have to manage them. Like how many people do you know, Matt? Like you're in the VA space, like that I hire a VA and I don't know shit about managing. And then you complain and say, my VAs suck.
Yeah.
And I want to fire them.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And it's like, bro, you have not trained them at all.
So
or
many of
you're calling horrible data.
Yeah, so many of them that we don't even take people who have never wholesaled a deal before. We just tell them no. Like we're like, no, we're not. We won't be on our team. We won't hire a VA
Yeah,
for you.
that VA is gonna get fired in like 3 months when
Yeah,
they're
it
broke,
never
you
works
know?
out because look, I tell people like, yeah, we manage the VAs and we do train, but we don't run your business.
I
And no
know, but
VAs.
this is so unique too. You can't teach every single one of your VAs how to do every single freaking strategy, and
Yeah.
like that is impossible. You
Right.
have like you train them on base knowledge, because I use Matt's VAs. He trains them on base knowledge, which helps tremendously when you get them
Yeah.
in to teach them your strategy, because now they know the basics. Finding your own VAs somewhere else is like, and you got to teach them the
Tough.
base. It's a pain in the
It's
ass.
tough.
If they're not any good, then you've got to fire and search again.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just crazy, man. It's a lot of work that people don't understand. And I think that if you're brand new in the space or you have some experience, I would probably go for the VA versus hiring American. You know, our team's all American, and you hear me on podcasts or whatever, and I preach that, because if you're calling bulk data, 100% call center or VAs, whatever it is, you know, make sure you screen your call center. If you're calling like only 1,000 records a month, you want to have Americans do it. And the reason why is a lot of VAs don't understand like tone. They don't understand sarcasm. Like I've had VAs that told me, Tim, I got a hot lead. And it's like, I look at the notes, it's like $1 million asking price.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, that wasn't real. But, you know, we had multiple sellers tell us, you know, hey, I really appreciate that everyone I've talked to in your team has been American. There's no foreign Indian accents, nothing wrong with Indian people, right? I'm just saying like the Indian, Filipino accents, all that stuff. Like it comes off as scam.
Yeah.
Because all of us are getting phone calls from these people. But if you have an American saying like, hey, like, I know you're going through a tough time. Like, you know, I'm here to give you some options. Is that fair? And it just comes off way different. You know?
I'd say you wouldn't have to hire American, but I would say partner up with one at least. And like
Yeah.
you give up equity in your business and you guys share it, but find somebody that if you're not a sales guy, find your sales guy. If you're an operations person, be the operations person. If you're the sales guy, find somebody that can help supplement the other side. Partner up
Yeah.
with people and not just like, you don't have to hire somebody, partner with them.
I think that's important, is even if you don't hire an American on your team, like let's say you do go with whatever else that's not American, have an American on your team that is your partner in all of this, like a project
That can
manager,
speak the
someone else.
language.
Yeah, someone else who helped you manage these VAs, who can be in the dust with you, because it's like you can't do all of this by yourself. It's a lot of fucking work, and if you're gonna have to have a team that you have to manage, and then of course they're having those language barriers where they don't understand sarcasm or something like that, like you need another American on your team to help. Like maybe have these other VAs do some more simpler things, and then have the American get on the phone and finalize stuff, where it's just like more of a solid conversation, because they don't understand that sarcasm. I agree. I've had that problem.
It's hard to have, in my opinion, a virtual person from a different country close your deals. I just think I can't do it. Like I've tried it before. They're good at lead managing, right? If their accent's not bad, they're really good at lead management. But honestly, lead management in the next like 5 years, maybe sooner, it's gonna be gone. Like
5 years,
AI.
1 year, like it's gone.
Can't wait.
AI's
I can't wait. Yeah. So lead managers gone.
So we thought the same thing, and actually Jamel told me the same thing. So what we do a little different on the VA company that we have is one, Filipino and people from India and Pakistan. It's like that. Look, I have people on my team that are Pakistani who don't do any outreach. They're some of my favorite people in the world. They're really hardworking, really good people.
Yeah, they crush on admin, they crush on systems.
It's just I tell them when they come through like for acquisition, I'm like, hey, look, you could be very good, but the truth is, like, your accent is just gonna be negative to people in America. That's just the way it is, and they're not gonna be receptive to it. So we find people outside those areas to get on the phones. You have to find certain places. We found subsegments of Africa. Latin America is very good. Latin America, because they have a temperament too, where they're confident and they can go and have a sales background, and those people can close. We have some really good, like the person who runs my North Carolina market right now. I grow with VAs that close deals for me in those markets. Like you'll be an acquisition person in that market, and they'll grow through that. Sam, who is my guy in North Carolina, he's great. He works so hard. He's from Colombia and has a Colombian accent, but it works fine. So you can find the people that can close for you. But the truth is, like, he wasn't successful in another person that hired him. But when he came to my team, he was very successful because I knew how to train him up because I've gone through the crap myself.
Were they doing direct to seller before?
No, they were doing agent outreach too. So that's what we do.
I think agent outreach is easier though, in terms of like talking to a seller. Like sellers are way worse.
For sure.
You know,
you can speak the language. Yeah, if you can speak the English
Yeah.
agent language, yes, you're all day long. Yeah, sellers, yeah, you a seller for sure will be a lot more.
It's
Do we say
it's
want to say
ruthless.
racist?
It's ruthless on the other side, dude. Like, you got like sellers that are like cursing you out, and like agents usually don't do that. Like they have to be
Well,
professional
it's
to a point.
consumer versus business. These agents have a business
Correct.
to represent, so they have to have a certain code of ethics or manners that they have to
Yep.
maintain.
Demeanor. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
100%.
they'll come back sometimes, and then sometimes we got to get right back to them. Yeah, but
You
I
got
think
the
one
I've
of the
been in
things.
this industry 45 years.
Yeah, I don't care. I hate that. When they tell me they've been in business for how many years, I hate that. I
Love it.
immediately hate you. But yeah, so it's just the way you talk to them, and make sure that with VAs too, you have to show, because a lot of them are so scared to say the wrong thing and to like
Yeah.
ruin anything. And I told Eva on one of our podcasts we did together, I was like, I've had to go on and like not cuss out an agent because I won't do that, but I've had to go on and just put an agent in their place in front of that VA on purpose because I'm
To
look.
show that you like got their back.
Yeah, there's 15,000 other agents. I don't care if this agent wants to work with me or not. Either you're
Correct.
going to make money
I
with me,
agree.
agent, or you're not. Like, again, we do more deals than you do every year. So come bring us a deal and we'll do a deal together. Like, that's
I
the
agree.
kind of attitude you have to have with it. And in anything, I think what you're doing is you have to have the confidence. You don't have it yet. You can fake it till you make it, sure.
Yeah.
But you have to go through the crap to get that confidence.
Yeah.
I think it's important to tell your team, like no matter VA or American sales rep or whatever, is that this industry, if you're a cold caller / lead, generator, like you're gonna get pounded on the phone.
Yeah.
And, I had a guy, tell me on Friday, he's like, I'm just scared to like burn a lead. I'm like, it's okay, bro. Like we got thousands of leads. Like if you burn a lead, like it's fine. As long as you learn from it and get better at it. Like that's a part of the process. And a lot of people get super frustrated and they don't have the patience and all that. But you gotta like tell your team, like, it's okay to F up, it's a part of the process.
Yes. Mistakes are imperative, especially in business.
100%.
I let my people make mistakes. Like I don't try and tell them
I want
everything.
them
Like,
to.
Yeah,
come
that
back,
means
let's
like
talk
they're
It's the only way to
trying.
learn. Like, please fail
Yeah.
so that I can show you how to not do that again, or we can learn from that lesson. Like when we have our turnkey clients, the first thing I want for my turnkey is where we bring in someone who wants to start a wholesale business and we build everything up from the ground for them. Their employees, their systems, everything. We train them on how to be a leader, all of that. So when we get their VAs in, the first thing we want is like 100 to 300 offers just through the system.
Well, they just send.
And it doesn't even matter if like the offer's a shit offer. I want you to still get it under contract. I want you to go through the trials and errors of that. I want you to know what it's like to try to retrade, try to negotiate it down, try to cancel that contract, try to get it sold to a buyer. Like I want them to go through the whole experience, even if it's a shit experience, even better if it's a shit experience, because you're going to know all the right things to do and all the wrong things very quickly.
Are
I need
you
you to know it,
you guys both licensed?
My wife
No.
is. That's how I passed my Virginia, because Virginia you have to have a license. But so I made my wife
Okay.
get it, so I can just talk to people however I want to.
Okay.
Nada.
Okay, so you don't have a license either.
No.
Okay, yeah, good. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. No, I think it's very. Here's the thing. So I guess like another thing. I don't know how long we have left.
That's. I mean, technically we
Okay.
have another 14 minutes.
Okay, so I will say if you're wholesaling at scale, like I talk a lot of ish on realtors, but it's actually kind of imperative to have one on your team or someone that you're associated to. And the reason why is because it's really hard to analyze deals in non-disclosure states.
Yes.
So, we primarily work in Texas, so
Yep.
information
I hate
is not
confident
public.
Texas.
Yeah, so we have a guy on our team that gives us that access, right? So then we can actually see like MLS real-time data, so we can like actually comp accurately. It's not legally, like most of the time it's not legal, like there's ways around it, but if you went straight referral to an agent and they sold a deal for you, their brokerage technically can't pay you like the share that you have unless you have a license as well, because they can't go broker to broker. So it is helpful to have someone on your team that is a licensed person so you can get those referrals legally, and it's on like the HUD and closing statements, and also you just have the underwriting power, like just to have like the data behind it. They are very needed. Okay, I'm not against agents 100%.
When agents are good,
Yeah, we work with, quite a few agents that we love, and we always give them business because we want to keep them fed and happy as well. And, they do refer us some deals here and there, but I'm not primarily like a direct to agent guy, like in general, but I know it's highly effective too.
I
Yeah, I
think it's
mean,
important that you say that though, because Matt and I are both agent people. So like we're agent when you
Yeah.
when you come on
But
here.
yeah, I know.
But there's so many ways to do wholesaling. Like you don't have to go direct to agent. You don't have to do cold calling. Cold email's not one that I've heard a lot about, but you're doing great cold email. Like there's just so many more methods that you don't have to do what like the gurus only want you to drive for
Yeah.
freaking dollars and knock on a door. Like you don't have to do that. You can pick
Yeah,
one.
you can be
do it.
this girl that I know in Houston. She gets about 50K a month in closed deals just off her website. She's
Yes.
like
See?
SEO goddess.
We'd
Yeah.
love to get her information.
Yeah,
We want
Yeah,
girly
yeah,
talk
yeah.
on the show, and that
It's-
sounds like an interesting strategy.
SEO, bro. SEO. She
Yeah,
spent
see? Like
and
there's so many methods. Like there's so many different avenues you could choose to take.
We're gonna talk to
Yeah,
John
it-
Galan here in the next week, and he gets all his deals from other wholesalers. Like
Yeah.
he makes
he's just
over
he's like it's a
$100,000.
connector.
Everything's JV, yeah.
Yeah, they bring him the
Holy
deals and they
sh-
dispo them. And like, I mean, he does deals. No, he does agents, I think, deals and probably some direct seller here and there. But he built their business, him and Helena Wu, off of doing deals with other wholesalers. They're bringing him. They would
Helena-
have, yeah,
Helena's his partner.
yeah.
Yeah.
Helena's a killer. Helena,
Yeah.
if you ever
Yeah,
get to talk to her,
I hear she's a
she don't play
monster.
around.
We want
Yeah.
her on too. She's a badass.
Yeah, she is. And so, yeah, I mean, they do over $100,000 a month in JV deals of what they get from people
That's insanity.
because they built an awesome system. I hate working with other wholesalers. Like,
But he does amazing
Yeah.
with it. It's just
Gotta
like
have
there's
patience
so
with
many
that
different
too.
methods.
oh my gosh, yeah, more than
Gotta
just
have patience
yeah.
with that too, man. Like, oh,
Yeah,
this
you
is
gotta have
not
a
a
war.
good deal because of this and all this. Oh my gosh.
Pick your poison. Who do you want to talk to? A seller, a wholesaler, an agent?
Yeah, I guess we can kind of like talk about this before we hop off. It's, you can be very successful in whatever strategy you pick. I just recommend that you stick to one strategy and learn the ins and outs of it
Yeah,
and become really
thank you.
good at it.
Yes.
Because a lot of people that I've talked to over the years is, why they're not successful is because they've rattled off 6 different wholesaling strategies.
in 6 different markets.
Yeah, 6 different markets. Like, oh, I try to do novations, I try to do foreclosures, I try to do
How long did
agents,
you stick
or
with
they're
each
all doing
one?
it at the same time.
Yeah. Yes,
Right?
we get that all the time. I already know, like, because I asked one of the questions I asked when people were reaching out to me, what market are you in? And they're like, oh, we're in Las Vegas, we're in Dallas, we're in Houston, we're in. I'm like, I know you don't do deals. I know you haven't done any deals
Yeah.
right now because you can't build a solid relationship base. You can't build a solid process while doing that. Like, just stick with one market. There's so many people who are huge wholesalers who don't go outside of one market.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go.
And that's it.
It's
I've
okay
been
to
in
go
Florida
virtual.
for almost 3 years now.
Yeah, I will say, like, don't like be stuck in your backyard, because sometimes backyards are just too small of a market, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I really tell people, like, go virtual, don't be afraid, but like
Yes.
stick to virtual, stick to that market and do some deals, because you'll meet some buyers. Like, if you're all over the place, like, you don't really have consistent buyers. Like, we use Investor Lift, we use all the software, but at the end of the day, like, that's not really the end all be all, right? Where, we've been in Houston for a long time, so we have connections to some guys at Northwestern or some hedge fund buyers that are guaranteed if you get them a deal, they will buy it. So you need like real industry players that want to buy your deals in order to do shit at scale, like, in my opinion, for virtual. But if you're bouncing from market to market, you don't really have that opportunity to like really develop like relationships, like, because I'm in Houston only, like, I just DM people on LinkedIn. Like, I'm like, yo, what's up, bro? Hedge fund is like out in Houston. Do you buy in Houston? Like, cool. Like, can you hit me up with the acquisition department? Like, I can openly say that because I'm in there. So like, I'm not going to waste their time when I present them deals, right? It's just, you gotta establish some roots, some foundation. And once you do like some consistent deals in one market, you can replicate that system somewhere else. But
Thank
right
you.
now, it's just, you can't be all over the place.
Thank you. Yes, like,
Agreed.
just
Agreed. So
learn how to do
much.
deals consistently, and then you move it to other markets. First, you can find, if you want to hire people to run that market, now you've established it, you built it, now help to build that process and team, then just do it over and over again. But you ain't never done it once, how are you gonna do it again? So that's a big one. Real quick before we go though, I'm interested to know, like, Texas laws on like outreach and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How big they've got on it. What's the strategy there?
We run it. I mean, it's just, listen, like, God, that's a loaded question. I would say,
Understand your risk tolerance.
I would say you follow the law as best you can, and you do what your risk tolerance is, right? Same thing with any real estate strategy. Like, if you want to borrow private money and over leverage yourself, but you think the deal can work, go ahead, right? If you want to flip a house and you think the margins are super close and razor thin. Like if you want to do it, go ahead. We're at the point where, we do what we can handle in terms of risk. Like we try to follow as many laws as possible. We register as well in Texas because there is a way to register your business for the telemarketing laws, because the Texas telemarketing laws are separate from TCPA, right? So, Arizona had that big lawsuit, that kind of passed in that real estate company's favor and said that soliciting someone to sell a property is not equivalent to selling a product, right? Selling a service. And that's what violates TCPA. So TCPA rules is very gray, but it's more favorable to the investor now because of that big lawsuit case that went up to like one level below the Supreme Court. But Texas has that separate telemarketing madness. And that's where like guys like Jerry Norton and all these like flipper guys came out with their new programs of takedown method, right? But what is the takedown method essentially? It's double closing. It's buying, or not even double closing. It's buying the property, owning it, and just relisting it on the MLS as a wholesale. That's literally what takedown method is. And the takedown method will get more popular as more states kind of catch on. The Carolinas is starting to get very strict.
Yeah, South Carolina's really strict, and North Carolina's
Yeah,
getting
super, super strict, right? So as restrictions get like larger, I think the skill and requirement to do deals will change a little bit, right? But you can still do deals. You just have to your numbers have to be right at the end of the day. Like you got to make sure you get your offer right. And if you do happen to have to close this deal, you got to make sure that there's room to sell it. I don't know what point I was trying to make. I was trying to say like, at the end of the day, there's ways around the law, right? But you have to still follow the law and make sure you're in line. But restrictions will get worse over time, right? Like at the end of the day,
I think the point with
be harder.
restrictions is just assignments. The problem really is just assignments. Everyone thinks that you're a wholesaler you do all these deals and you're a wholesaler. When really, if you assign a contract, you're a wholesaler. If you stop assigning contracts and do something else, you're no longer a wholesaler. You're now an investor using God knows how many strategies. The problem is assignments. Everything that's going to get you in trouble is assignments, was what it looks like it's coming to be. Like you just
assignments or
wholesaling, you're just changing what contracts and how long you hold and all that. It's the only difference.
Yeah, and there's more restrictions towards that. It'll get worse. Assignments will be harder and harder to do. Marketing laws, right? So, there is a big push, right? As telemarketing laws get more strict, that's why you see all these like influencers come out with like the inbound products, right? Like I'll run your ads for you. I'll run your PPC ads for you. And I get that, right? Like you want someone to opt in, and that's why you run those ads, because you want someone to opt in so you can legally market to them. The issue is, that's just not sustainable to people. So the bigger players are benefiting from this because they can just outspend you. Like, when we were doing a ton of marketing, it's combination of those companies running ads. So they have brand recognition of running ads, and they see them on the internet. They're going on Facebook. They see Tim Yu's face. Oh, like I want to buy your house. And then they see a letter come in, and they see like Tim Yu, Top Gap Homes. We want to help you out. We want to buy your house. They saw me on TV. They saw me on ads. Like you can't beat that ecosystem when you're a brand new investor. Like we didn't even survive. Like it's just too much money that we're spending to like keep up. And once we run out of money, they're the only ones that are surviving and still running ads.
So everyone just needs to get creative in some old school ways. Like go back to door knocking.
Door knocking is always effective. You can't, they'll have to know soliciting sign too, but like door knocking will never really go away. I think, cold calling, like, yes, the telemarketing laws, but like, okay, so here's the thing, like, guys, don't take this as legal advice, right? This is, I'll put the disclaimer out. If you're calling people in foreclosure, okay, like people, and this is not me saying like, okay, you're taking advantage of foreclosure people. I'm just kind of like rationalizing it in a way, and why we can accept the risk is if I'm calling a foreclosure list and someone does try to sue me, who first off, this person has no money. Like they are behind on payments. They're losing their house. At the end of the day, like I truly believe that like our options can actually help them. Like a cash offer will pay off all your debt and you can like go away scot-free. But if they do want to sue us and we have lawyers, how long can they drag that out? I'm not sure. I mean, I've never really been through like that crazy type of lawsuit. I've been sued before, but like I've never been like in that type of situation where in reality, like, can they afford that?
Not only that, like with what passed in Arizona, like how much of a ground did they have to stand on? You weren't selling them anything. You're trying to help them.
I think that like in Texas, if you register as a business to telemarket, I think you'll be fine. But I think those fees will crush people. Like it's not really like the lawsuits, it's just the violations. So like if you're marketing and someone does complain, like you can get hit with a $500 fee, and like they can stack those fees on you. So if you call them like 6 times, they can stack 500 times 6 on you, right? So I think that's what's going to crush people. In reality, it's not really the lawsuits, in my opinion. Like those bigger companies, but I feel like we are so small at the end of the day that people aren't really worried about us. Like we're not doing $1 million like months. We're not like calling you 50 times a day like some of these companies are. So, I don't know. It's a very tough conversation to kind of navigate, but at the end of the day, you do what you think you can handle in terms of risk and follow the laws as best as possible.
Yeah. Do you want to make cold calls and risk getting sued, or you want to do door knocking and risk getting shot? I mean, what's your risk policy on it? Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. I never thought about I never thought about that, right? Like,
Well, no,
I always thought like that's crazy.
no, we call
That's
agents.
not true. That's scary.
Yeah, if agents complain, I'm like, you're a business. You listed I can find your phone number online that you put there.
Correct.
They'll
Publicly.
get mad at me for calling you. But yeah, really, it's I think that restrictions, like everyone freaks out about them, and they suck. Don't get me wrong, like, they suck for us. But the truth is, like, if you're a good wholesaler, you know how to run a business, you'll find a way to be a good wholesaler with the restrictions on it. I think that a licensing process or a process where it makes it more legit is not a bad thing, because it's going to weed out a lot of the terrible people who got us here in the first place. If you were doing sketchy business and doing terrible things, and now you got to be held accountable for it, well,
Yeah.
here you go. Sorry about it. Change your ways or get with it.
I think, guys, like at the end of the day, just be honest. Like if it's not a deal, you can say it's not a deal, because you don't want to lock a contract up super high just to say you got it under contract.
Yes.
Like don't do that, because now you're putting them in a bad spot, and then like now you're at the point where like, okay, you intentionally like F this person because you were like, oh, I'm gonna just get under contract. And guys, getting deals under contract is not a sexy metric. Like
No, it's not.
you see guys that like say, I got 10 deals under contract, but none of them closed because they're too high.
Yeah.
So just don't do it. Like stick to your numbers. If you can't get the offer, then you probably need to look at your sales process, right? Because it's not about blasting high offer or these, it's frustrating.
It is. It is. Cool. All right. So, we're a little past our time here, which is fine. We had a good
Sorry,
conversation, which is
guys.
great. No,
I'm
you
sorry.
don't
No, don't be
apologize.
sorry. We'll rant all day.
The thing is, I have to cut it off because we will talk for the next 3 hours, and then
Okay,
my
perfect.
wife will kill me because we're supposed to be getting the kids to bed, or dinner and then bed. But
Yeah.
So how do people get a hold of you? How do people find out more about you and learn from you and jump on your calls like I did and do?
Yeah, for sure. Hit me up on Instagram. That's like most active there. It's Tim Yu is my name. So find me on Instagram, follow me. We'd love to kind of see if we can help you out. And yeah, we got a free school community to kind of help you out if you're a brand new beginner. And yeah, hit me up. We'd love to help.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Sweet.
Yeah, we'll link all your stuff in there. This episode, I don't know when it's going to come out yet. We're going to start releasing these here on the 6th. I think we determined at least. So we'll start on the 6th. We have a few episodes banked in front of you, but we'll start releasing teaser episode or teaser content and stuff like that. We'll tag you all in it so that you know what's coming up and make sure that we're good to go. But thank you so much for joining us on this call, man. I know you got a 9 to 5 you're working, trying to get you to play hooky with your boss wasn't a thing. You good?
Yeah, I got 6 more months, I think, until I'm out. So I'm so happy I can like publicly
Girl
say
party.
that. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm out.
Go to a party, absolutely.
No,
Well, thank you so much for your time, man. Thank
Yeah,
you.
appreciate meeting you. Well, it's good to meet you, and I appreciate you guys bringing me on the show.
Awesome. If you guys got anything from this episode like we did, please like, share, subscribe, comment, hit the bell icon. We'll drop these episodes every Thursday. I don't know what time yet, but they'll be coming out every Thursday. Thank you so much for being here.
Sounds good.
Thanks for figuring it out.
Yeah.